For thousands of years, the night sky has inspired one question more than any other. What's out there? Long before rockets, before satellites, before modern science, civilizations looked up at the stars and wondered how the universe began. What lay beyond the visible sky, and whether humanity was alone in the vast darkness. Every generation pushed that search a little further. From Galileo's first telescope to giant observatories on mountaintops, each new invention revealed a universe far greater than anyone had imagined. Then, in 1990, everything changed. The launch of the Hubble Space Telescope gave humanity its clearest view of the cosmos. Free from Earth's atmosphere, Hubble captured breathtaking images of distant galaxies and worlds far beyond our own. It transformed astronomy and answered questions scientists had pursued for decades. But with every discovery came an even bigger mystery. The deeper Hubble looked into space, the more it revealed its own limits. Some of the oldest galaxies in the universe remained hidden, not because they didn't exist, but because their light had traveled for billions of years, stretching beyond what Hubble could detect. To uncover the universe's earliest history, scientists needed to look farther, deeper, and in an entirely different way. It wouldn't just require a better telescope. It would require the most ambitious space observatory ever conceived, a machine so advanced it would take decades to build. It wouldn't simply photograph the universe. It would allow humanity to witness light that began its journey more than 13 billion years ago, bringing us closer than ever to the dawn of the cosmos. That machine would become the James Webb Space Telescope. The James Webb Space Telescope. Building a telescope capable of seeing the dawn of the universe would demand more than scientific ambition. It would require engineers to solve problems no one had ever solved before. Designing the James Webb Space Telescope was only half the challenge. Getting it safely into space was another story entirely. Unlike Hubble, James Webb was simply too large to fit inside any rocket. It had to be folded into an impossibly compact shape, like a giant piece of origami. But once it reached space, every single part would have to unfold flawlessly. There would be no second chance. On December 25th, 2021, after more than 2 decades of development, engineers gathered for the mission they had spent much of their careers preparing for. As the countdown reached 0, an Ariane 5 rocket lifted gracefully into the morning sky, carrying one of humanity's greatest scientific ambitions. The launch was nearly perfect. But for the team behind James Webb, the real mission was only just beginning. Over the following days, the telescope began an extraordinary journey toward a point nearly 1.5 million kilometers from Earth, known as L2. James Webb would travel far beyond the Moon, to a location where the gravity of the Earth and the Sun worked together to keep it in a stable orbit. It was the perfect place to observe the universe, but it was also impossibly far away. If something went wrong, no astronaut could reach it. No repair mission could save it. Then came the most nerve-wracking part of the entire mission. One by one, the telescope began unfolding itself. Its solar panel deployed first, then its communication antenna. Next came the 5 delicate layers of its enormous sun shield, each one stretching with incredible precision. Finally, the 2 wings of its giant primary mirror slowly rotated into position, completing the telescope that scientists had dreamed about for decades. Every movement depended on hundreds of motors, hinges, and cables working exactly as designed. A single failure could have ended the mission forever, but against the odds, every deployment succeeded. After years of planning and 2 weeks of carefully choreographed engineering, humanity's greatest space telescope was finally ready to open its eyes. For the first time, James Webb was ready to do what it had been built for, not just to look farther into space, but to look farther back in time. The James Webb Space Telescope wasn't designed to simply take sharper pictures of space. It was built to answer one of humanity's oldest questions. What did the universe look like in the beginning? At first, that idea sounds impossible. How can a telescope see into the past? The answer lies in one simple fact. Light takes time to travel. The light from the most distant galaxies has been traveling for more than 13 billion years. When James Webb captures that light, it's seeing the universe as it was billions of years ago. In a sense, James Webb is the closest thing humanity has ever built to a time machine, but seeing that ancient light required something Hubble couldn't do. As the universe expands, the light from distant galaxies stretches, shifting into the infrared part of the spectrum. That's why James Webb was designed to detect infrared light. Then, the first images arrived, and they exceeded every expectation. Galaxies appeared in astonishing detail. Towering clouds of gas revealed where new stars were being born. Ancient structures, formed not long after the Big Bang, emerged from the darkness. With every image, James Webb wasn't just taking photographs, it was rewriting chapters of the universe's history. For the first time, humanity wasn't just imagining the early universe, we were finally seeing it. Today, the James Webb Space Telescope continues its silent journey through space. Hour after hour, it quietly collects light that has traveled across the universe. It's helping scientists answer questions that once seemed impossible. How did the first galaxies form? And perhaps the biggest question of all, could life exist somewhere beyond Earth? Already, James Webb has detected the chemical fingerprints of water, carbon dioxide, and methane in the atmospheres of distant exoplanets, bringing us closer to understanding other worlds. Every image James Webb sends back is more than a scientific achievement. It's another piece of humanity's story, a reminder of our willingness to keep asking questions. For thousands of years, we looked up at the night sky and wondered what was beyond. Today, for the first time, we're beginning to find out. If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe to the Viral Files for more cinematic documentaries exploring the world's greatest mysteries. Until next time, keep looking up.